And that was a shoot. Yeah, that's full-blown shoot.
Since you want to shoot, cowboy!
And now, the Real Shoot Wrestling Podcast.
Real Shoot Wrestling episode number 20, and we are so tired of each other that we decided to do this a different way this time.
Which hopefully works.
Yeah, I think it'll work. Hopefully it'll work. So Tim is actually not here with me. He's in Connecticut?
Yep. Right by the Navy base.
Right by the Federation headquarters.
Yeah, I did. Would definitely check that out while I was here, of course.
Did you see Heath Slater trying to get a contract while you're there?
No. Which I did. What sucks though is I did find out that SmackDown will be here next Tuesday.
Oh, nice. That's too bad. Have you watched any of the shows this week?
I have watched some here and there. Like, I've watched some of the shows. Like, I haven't had the ability to watch all of them, like all of every show. But tonight's the first night that I have been, like, making sure I catch them live because, first of all, what I saw of Raw, it didn't seem that bad, but everybody talked really bad about it.
Yeah, for me it was not that good.
It's whatever.
I still think that SmackDown overall is a better organized show, pretty much.
I think it's all, of course, some people will just talk about, well, the numbers, but I think the numbers will come, and he needs to stop being so old. But because, I feel like we're still, people are trying to, like, it seems like every week a show happens, and then they're like, well, what do you think about the split? Was the split worth it? Was it that good? I'm like, guys, it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, come on, give it some time. Like, the Attitude Era took longer than 3 weeks to get into.
Right. Yeah, I think that the biggest problem for me was after I watched this past weekend's G1 Climax finals, it was just really hard for me to watch Raw.
See, people say that, but to me, it's apples and oranges. So I don't get the two misconstrued. When something amazing happens on a Raw or a SmackDown or even a WWE product in general, it's pumped. I get pumped, like it's really cool. But at the same time, it's like I have an understanding to myself that obviously WWE is not going to go and give you a G1 performance. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
So
I understand that, yeah.
So there's part of me that's like, well, I'm going to get something different than watching the G1.
I think the biggest problem is the WWE over the last year or two has teased that style a lot, and so that fans are kind of hungry for that.
Yeah? You think?
Yeah, especially with bringing in AJ and Nakamura, and you have a lot more strong style within the last year than they've had in a long time. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, they have way more, but they've still yet to really take the style. You know what I mean? Like, they've got the people that do it, but they still haven't done it. It's like it's like the New York Yankees goes and spends a bunch of money on amazing players, an all-star team, but still can't get championships with it. It's like I'm still really waiting, like, and that's what I'm pretty pumped about Brooklyn for NXT. I feel like we're going to get a pretty physical altercation between Samoa Joe and Nakamura.
Yeah, so let's talk about that show. We should make some picks since this is the preview show.
Dude, this if that's what we're doing, then we got to do picks for like 4 or 5 shows. I feel like.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much going on just this weekend. It's absolutely insane. You have Friday night, you have Evolve, you have ROH. Saturday, you have NXT, and you have Evolve, and then you have SmackDown, not SmackDown, but SummerSlam as well on Sunday, and then it just goes straight into the next step, which is Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Cruiserweight. You know, it's just boom, 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 boom. I just hope people's ready for some good wrestling to come their way.
It is a good time to be a wrestling fan for sure. But since I only printed off the cards for the NXT and SummerSlam, we can look at those real quick, if that's okay.
Of course.
Okay, so the opening match is Ember Moon versus Billie Kay, the debuting Ember Moon.
Yeah, I'm very excited for her. I honestly was not at first, but I actually used our Facebook page to kind of get familiar with her, and I kind of just put the feelers out there and was like, hey, you know, I really like this gimmick that they're doing, but for me, I feel like it's a waste. And somebody said to me, you know, well, I really like her, and I think she's really good for the brand. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, please, if you don't mind, please send me some stuff that I can watch so I get a better feel for what she does. And they did that, and I have been very impressed since.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ember Moon here.
I think she's going to be. I am too. I think she's going to be good for the women that's there, and I honestly think that she can take a beating and give a beating.
And also, I think that's probably the perfect crowd to debut her in front of, too.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we both go Ember Moon. So the next match, No Way Jose versus Austin Aries.
Yeah, this is a tough one to pick. It's a tough one for me, personally, because it's like I can see where they're trying to do something with No Way Jose. But in all honesty, like how do you plan on doing anything with Austin Aries if he loses to No Way Jose at this point?
Right. Yeah, I think this is a match that can really make No Way Jose, and he doesn't have to win it necessarily, but I think a lot of people are still unsure about him. So I think if we get a good match out of him, and then Aries makes him tap, I feel like that's going to be a performance that a lot of people will like from him and will also, as they say, get him over. Yeah. So are you going with Aries too?
I'm going to go with Aries.
Okay. All right, the next match is the NXT Tag Team Champions, The Revival, going against the very hot Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa.
Dude, this one's a tough one because of the match that they just had. Those two are so well known, and with the Glorious Bomb that's going on as well. Man, I don't know. I'd like to see this go for more matches, but I honestly think that they're going to pull the trigger and give the tag belts to Gargano and Tommaso.
I think this will be the show stealer, honestly. And I think that the Revival will keep it for now. And perhaps maybe this will lead to a singles feud between Gargano and Ciampa down the road.
So you think it's going to go a little longer?
Yes.
All right, so that's split. That's split on that one. You're going to go with you're going with Gargano. I'm going with Gargano and Tommaso, and you're going with the Revival.
Yes. And speaking of Glorious Bomb, we've got Bobby Roode versus Cien Almas.
I'm going with Roode.
Yeah, definitely Roode here. I actually watched a match with Almas from New Japan this past week. I forgot how good he was there.
I mean, see, that's the thing. He's good at places, and I'm not taking anything away from him. But what's so special about him in NXT?
Yeah,
as of right now?
I
You know what
agree.
mean? That's what sucks.
Like, even his name...
I mean, he just premiered, and they're going to feed him to Bobby Roode.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't stick him in the CWC at first, to be honest. But who knows?
I don't know.
I don't make these decisions. So, the women's
We know.
title match, Asuka versus Bayley. Last year, the match of the year for NXT was Bayley versus Sasha Banks, according to the fans. And so, they got a lot to live up to with this.
I can't disagree with you on that one. Because it's the truth. But I just don't see the women being the big deal again this year, though. That's just me, though.
I think that Asuka will be not as over as Sasha, but I think this could be another thing for her, just like Noah Jose. This will be maybe a coming out for her. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm going with Asuka.
I'm going to go with Asuka. And talking about Asuka, do you know that she had her own Fed? Like her own company in Japan?
No.
Yeah, she had her own company in Japan. And she booked herself to take an ass whipping, I just saw the other day.
Really?
Against, I forget what's his name, and I hate to say it like that, but he's the dude in Japan that has the worst hair in the company. You know who I'm talking about.
Tanahashi?
No, he's got that, like, side head shave thing.
Oh, okay.
And,
I'm not sure.
yeah. But you know who I'm talking about. He's got black gear.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He beat the shit out of her.
Huh.
Like, bad. And, like, to the point to where it made me uncomfortable to watch. But then I found out later that she booked it for her company in the back. Like, she wanted that to happen.
Wow.
I was like, screw that.
All right, so the main event is Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
Oh, yeah. Which I'm pumped for.
Yeah, I mean, just the crowd reaction for Nakamura.
I think the physical level is going to go up to a whole other step here.
Yeah, this will probably be one of the stiffest matches in the WWE in a long time.
Yeah, I honestly feel like a lot of people aren't ready for. I'm trying to think.
That style?
They're not ready for what they're about to see. And
Okay.
In all honesty, they may not know how to react to it.
Well, again, I think this is in front of the perfect crowd in Brooklyn, honestly, because you're going to have some people from Philly, you're going to have some other people travel there. I think this will be the perfect crowd for this match.
You think?
I think so, and I'm not real sure who's going to win. I'm leaning towards Joe still, but I could see Nakamura. But I'll pick Joe for now.
I don't know, man. I just with what they said today, and they're trying to push for the whole Joe versus Brock at Mania 33.
Oh, yeah.
With them doing that, I could see them getting the belt off of Nakamura soon. But at the same time, it's like, that shit ain't till April, so who knows?
Did you watch the, not to get off the subject, but I'm sure you probably haven't seen it yet, but Samoa Joe is he is featured a good bit in the women's documentary that aired on the network last night, which I found a little surprising.
Why?
Well, because he's not on the main roster yet, and so you know how they are sometimes about NXT guys.
But also, he has been on the independents for how long, and probably toured and performed
Yeah,
with those same girls.
we know that, but they usually don't really go with that for NXT people.
Yeah.
I just think it's a sign of maybe of what's to come. I think, obviously, they believe in this guy, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, but there's been a lot of talks, and they also believe in Nakamura.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So that's the NXT
So
card. This will be,
Is that?
yeah, that's
Well, let it be known that this week's episode of NXT ended with a press conference between the two.
Okay.
And it got a little out of hand, and so they had to call it. And they were going at each other. They make it look like this is going to be a big deal. And I think it is a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't really know them ever meeting before, have they?
I don't believe so.
I don't know or have heard of any type of meeting between the two before. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, that's going to be exciting for sure. And, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where these two guys end up after this show. But, anyway,
I mean, okay. Whichever one doesn't come to the roster, is that the one? Whichever one doesn't win, is that the one that's going to go to the roster?
I mean, you would think that, but not necessarily, because they brought up Kevin Owens. So, when he had the title. So, I don't know that that's necessarily the case.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, it's easy to make predictions when it comes to who's going to do what and this and that and the other, but anymore when it comes to like who they're going to pull and who they're going to pull up and what they're going to do, that seems to be who knows anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right,
because
so
obviously everybody knew, Finn was going to come up with the roster, but obviously a whole bunch of other people thought differently about the other people that were picked,
Sure.
So, it's going to be, like I said, it's a fun time to be a wrestling fan, and who knows what WWE is going to do right now, because can they do some good things? Yes, of course, but it seems that, they might be still doing some bad things from time to time.
As always, yes. All right, so, of course, the big SummerSlam card. I believe is this a 4-hour show? There's 11 matches.
I think altogether it's actually 6 hours.
Oh, good. Well, I hope it doesn't run over like WrestleMania did, at least.
Oh, it's going to run over, brother, so be prepared.
All right, so we're going to start out the show with Carmella, Becky Lynch, and Naomi versus Natalya, Eva Marie, and Alexa Bliss. Which I'm actually excited for this match.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, did you see Naomi's entrance last night?
I heard about it, and I saw a picture, but I didn't see
It's insane.
the actual
I thought I was
entrance.
tripping on acid.
I saw a picture and it looked crazy, but honestly, with how crazy the picture was, I couldn't tell if that was like, hey, it's a blurry pixeled picture, or it's just going crazy.
But this match to me is an example of what SmackDown is doing, because I care more about this match than I do the women's title match, honestly.
Oh, yeah?
Just because of the way that they've booked it, honestly. I mean, it's not that I don't care about the women's title match, but, I mean, they've made every one of these competitors matter to me. And I don't know. I mean, Sasha Banks and Charlotte, how many more times are you going to do that in a row?
Yeah. Honestly.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Natalya, Eva Marie, and Alexa Bliss. And Eva Marie somehow finds a way to not wrestle at all and get the pin.
Thank God. I'm sorry, but this is like the perfect gimmick for her.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like it's going to get her over even more.
Yeah, it definitely
You know
is.
what I mean? I just feel like, everybody hates her anyway, so we might as well make her as hated as possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's what they're doing.
So who wins?
I think what you just said. I think Eve doesn't get in the match at all until it's time for the pin, and boom, she gets the pinfall.
Beautiful.
You know what I mean?
Just like Edge used
Something
to do.
happens. Somebody, something to the extent of Natalya does all the work, hits her finish, then somebody from the other team gets Natalya, and Eve looks at the opening, and boom, it's over. Eve gets the pin.
Very nice. So, since we talked about the other women's match, Sasha versus Charlotte, and I actually looked at the odds in Vegas for this match, and it is the most lopsided odds out of any match, with Sasha Banks being a heavy favorite in Vegas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which is really strange, but
I think it's really strange that Vegas is all about betting on pro wrestling.
as opposed to anything else that's worked.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just weird to me. It's just like, hey, that's everybody says it's predetermined and everything.
That's actually how I knew that Brock Lesnar was going to beat The Undertaker, was because at the very Undertaker was a heavy favorite until the beginning of the show, and all of a sudden Brock Lesnar became the favorite, and I knew something was up.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
That was one of the things that Vegas can tip you off with.
That damn Vegas.
Chance Hearn will tell you all about that.
Who will?
Chance Hearn.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. So who wins that match?
I mean, I got Sasha. That's me, though.
I think Charlotte wins somehow, because
Charlotte takes it back.
they did the stipulation that Dana Brooke is banned from ringside, so I think that something's going to get screwy and Charlotte's going to win.
Flair comes, her dad comes back and helps.
Right, something like that.
I hope not.
All right,
I'm tired.
you and me both. Cesaro versus Sheamus. I don't know if you heard this, but this is going to be the first match in a best-of-7 series.
Yes, which is awesome. I mean, I would obviously wish that the best-of-7 series was with somebody that I liked a little bit more. Like, why not? I mean, he doesn't even have a match at SummerSlam. Why not give me a best-of-7 with Cesaro and Sami Zayn?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people saying that, and
for the number one contendership of the Intercontinental Champion,
U.S. champion.
U.S.
Rusev will kill you if you get those mixed up.
Loser leaves Raw.
Yeah, I mean, that would be perfect because those two already have a history in NXT. I mean, you can tell that story. They had one of the best matches in NXT history in that 2 out of 3 Falls match. So, yeah, I mean, that would definitely make sense.
Oh, easily.
So, I'm going to go with Sheamus for this one.
Oh, you're gonna go with Sheamus on the first one?
Yeah, because, I mean, there's got to be at least a heel or two that wins on the show, so I'm just going to go with Sheamus.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, man, when I make my prediction, the women's title could go either way. So
yeah, I agree.
So to me, it's almost like it's almost like I don't know. That's another thing that's cool about WWE right now. It's like we don't know we might know what they're going to do storyline wise, but some of these outcomes for these shows, you just have no idea what's going to happen.
Right. And if you checked out Talking Smack last night, one of the best things I've seen in a while was Daniel Bryan confronting John Cena about Cesaro. It was great.
Yeah. I didn't get to see that, so you're going to have to explain a little bit more.
Well, he asked John Cena about who from the new era impressed him the most, and he mentioned Cesaro, and Daniel Bryan said, well, didn't Vince McMahon say Cesaro doesn't have the it factor? And that kind of cracked Cena, because he took off the performer hat and actually showed some personality there for once.
Well, that's good. I mean, but Vince likes Cesaro at the same time. Like, Vince wants to make Cesaro the man, but at the same time, it's like he feels that he doesn't have something that I guess Roman Reigns has, somebody to that extent.
Yeah. All right, so we're both going Sheamus here. So the Miz versus Apollo Crews for the IC title.
Okay. To me, anytime somebody puts over the fact of how long they've had a belt, that usually to me means it's coming off of them.
Okay.
But like I said, this is another one of those. Like, the mid card stuff is kind of hard to determine.
Yeah.
It's like the big stuff is easier to guess what's going to happen. But either or at this point, they've been pushing Miz a little too hard to just have Apollo come in and win out of nowhere. So I don't really see Miz losing his title. I see them keeping Maurice and him, doing their thing for a minute with that title.
Yeah, I could see them having Apollo win the title at the next, like the very first exclusive SmackDown pay-per-view.
What is that called? Is that No Mercy? Is that called No Mercy?
I think it's Backlash.
Is it? I knew it was one of those older, names.
Yeah, so I guess we're both going Miz here. Another match where the competitors talk about how long they've had the title. The New Day versus the Club.
I think the Club takes this one.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, they've been on a roll. A lot of people have complained about their doctor skits or vignettes, or that they're a little too funny for heels, but I don't see that. I'm not saying that it's not the day of the old heels anymore, because it still works, but the day of the conventionary heel is, not always, well, the heel made me laugh, so he's not a heel anymore, you know? So they're still the heels, but, they're just like, they're Bullet Club, and it's just like NWO. And, it's, some people find it really hard to, not like the Bullet Club. Look, or, a group like that. The only thing with that is, if you go and watch wrestling in the 80s and the 90s, you will laugh at every single heel, just about. I mean, just because you didn't know it was a work at the time doesn't mean that they weren't funny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like Come on, let's think about this. The Repo Man.
Oh, yeah.
Does anybody remember the way he used to laugh?
IRS.
IRS.
Ted
And then you got
DiBiase.
people, and then you got people like Duke the Dumpster Droese. Like he was a good guy, yet oh my God, was he not like the funniest? Like one of the funniest things to watch on wrestling, just because like that whole time of wrestling in WWE was absolutely horrendous. And like your job was a wrestler. Why did everybody have other jobs? Like supposedly Tito Santana was a bullfighter when he wasn't wrestling. Like, they had a alligator hunter. They had just all these stupid things. Oh man.
Yeah,
Just
I agree, definitely. All right, so I guess we're both going the club here.
Both club.
So I don't know if this next match is on the mid card or if it'll be the main event, but Rusev versus Roman Reigns.
You don't know? You think you don't know if there's a main card or a main event, a mid card or a main event?
Right, because it's been the main event on Raw the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but at the same time, you've got to think you have both titles. You have Brock and Orton, and you have Cena and AJ. There's no way this is going to be even close to the main event.
I'm just saying it's been the main event of Raw the last 2 weeks with all those guys. So
no, I understand it and I get it, but I don't. I'm sorry, Jack Gallagher is impressing the shit out of me right now. But but yeah, there's no way. There's no way. I mean, maybe it'll be like a Randy Orton, and then they have Rusev and Roman, and then they have the Universal title. It might be something like that, but it's really not a. It's really not no chance of being an actual main event.
all right, well, I'm going to say that Rusev gets himself disqualified in this match.
Ooh, that's a pretty good determination. And like you didn't say win or lose. You're saying how he did, and honestly, that'd be kind of hard for me to disagree with. I agree with that.
Yeah, I just don't see. I don't see them putting this title on Reigns. I mean, maybe they do, but I just don't see that.
I can very easily see. I'm very easily seeing Roman win, but not getting the belt.
Yeah. Okay, so we're agreeing a little bit too much here, but that's all right.
Which let's be honest. Let's be honest. This feud in general has helped both immensely.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was a little.
But with the thing. Go ahead.
I was a little bit like. It kind of reminded me of the Royal Rumble though this past week, because they booked Roman kind of as a heel though, because you have Rusev defending his girl and Reigns kind of, bullying her kind of as a heel, just like he was kind of booked in the Rumble.
But see, it's not so much heel face. It's when in this situation, it's about honor. So it's just honor for honor in a situation. Because he even said it's for my wife's honor. Yeah. So it's not like a good or a bad guy. I mean, he didn't. What he did was crappy, but anytime that would, let's say that would happen to your crappy boss. That doesn't make you a bad guy because you liked it or that because it happened. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
But I think it has, supposedly Rusev got in some trouble on Raw whenever he went and grabbed the microphone and was like, go ahead and keep cheering for me. Because supposedly they're piping sound in during the live shows now.
Yeah, they've done that for a while with Reigns.
I mean, honestly, though, there was a lot of people cheering for him when I was there in Pittsburgh. It was like it felt differently when I was in different areas of the arena.
Yeah.
So I think it all depends on kind of the mic placement because, I had a kid beside me going nuts for Roman. I had a woman in front of me going nuts for Roman. When I was down there on the floor sitting in my seat, it sounded like there was a lot of Roman fans. But when I was at the concession stand, during Nia Jax's match, Nia Jax's match was over, and they started that four-way for the chance to be the number one contender for the Universal title. His music hit, and it was just boos for days. So, I mean, it was loud boos, like loud disliking of Roman. But anymore, I think there's a difference between the people, like I said, that go to the wrestling shows live. Like I'm a pro wrestling fan, but I still like WWE. I'll still watch it because I'm a pro wrestling fan. I'll watch it. But the people that go to the shows are just kind of like people that actually go to the football games, to the stadiums. I'm not saying there's not fans in there, but there's also a lot of people that go to games live just to experience it and just to drink a lot with their buddies and just to hang out with their friends. So, it's
or they'll go because their kid likes it.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard people in other arenas say Roman got booed the whole time and there was no cheers at all and everybody hated him. But I honestly can't say that whenever we were in Pittsburgh because at one time everybody was booing the crap out of him, and then the next time it was cheers. So,
Yeah, I got you. It's always about where you are. So we both have the same pick there as well. So Cena versus AJ Styles. Is this the rubber match?
I feel AJ wins with, I honestly, since it's a combined pay-per-view, I feel somebody steps up and helps AJ win.
Okay.
Do you think to show that there is a actual Bullet Club type deal on SmackDown.
Okay. See, here's the thing that I'm constantly thinking in the back of my head. Bray Wyatt is not booked on this show, and I feel like he's going to make his presence felt in one of these matches, and this might be one of them.
Why this one?
Just because, I mean, one of those guys is going to need someone to feud with after this match, and that could totally build it up right when this match ends if Bray Wyatt interferes.
But see, I've seen stuff where they're talking about as soon as he's going to be involved in the world title picture.
Yeah, I've seen that too. I'm just saying, I think he will be involved in one of those two matches.
So you're saying he's either in the Cena match or he's in the title match.
Right.
I mean, I see him more in the title picture match than this one, but who knows,
I mean, he's not attacking The Miz. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to also understand, people have said that, he was going to get involved with Orton and Lesnar because of him messing with Lesnar at the Rumble last year.
Okay.
But I think that ship has sailed.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Cena here because...
I mean, I take AJ.
Okay. So we've got a difference there. Good.
Because, I mean, also, Cena's going to start taking that step back. And AJ right now, I feel, can step it up. Because, not taking anything away from from John, but John has done amazing things in the past 10 years for WWE.
Yeah.
But he has in no way, shape, or form had the physicality of matches that AJ has had over the 10 years.
Sure.
So I feel like AJ's body is a little bit tougher and more ready for to take on that full-time role of he being the guy that the people have to go through instead of Cena being the guy that people have to go through, kind of thing.
Okay, so we disagree on that one. Ambrose versus Ziggler for the WWE World Title.
I want Ziggler on this one.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Because it to me it would make it that much more of a big deal that he wins it, because everybody goes, well, he hasn't won anything in a while and he's using the super kick. It's almost like they're working against him, you know, as much as people have said that they worked against Roman Reigns with the way they booked him. I think they've worked against Ziggler the same way, but I think it's going to mean that much more when he does win, if he does win this Sunday.
This storyline...
they could make it... Go ahead.
This storyline reminds me of the feud between Jericho and The Rock from 2001, where they kept saying that Jericho couldn't win the big one, and after so many times, he finally beat The Rock for the WCW title.
And then beat Stone Cold in the same night.
Yeah, that was later on down the road, but that was the same year, yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember it just being... I thought his first title grab was those two combined.
He had the WCW title briefly, and The Rock won it back. It was not that long, but then he won it again in December of that year.
No.
Come on, you should know the history of your greatest of all time here.
Sorry, I apologize. I can't keep all the facts, man.
So you go with Ziggler. I'm going to go with Ambrose, because I think that if they do have Dolph go over, I think it's going to be more of a build. I think it's going to go on after this, if that's the case.
Well, you know, that's what you think, bro.
Again, this could be a match that Bray gets involved with. So, I mean, it's just really hard to tell.
Yeah. Wow, they got 3 matches on tonight on the CWC.
Oh, okay.
They have
your boy Brian Kendrick's on.
Yeah. Well, all of them are on tonight. I got the Gallagher match just happened, and there was a winner. Do I go ahead and talk about it?
Go ahead. It'll be done when this podcast airs.
But we got to finish the rest of this card.
All right, so we got Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins for the WWE Universal Galaxy Spaceship Championship, or whatever it is.
For the what was it? Crap. What was the place in Ninja Turtles? The Dimension X title?
Yes.
See, there's just... I'm going to go with Finn, because there's just so much talk about him winning the belt.
Yeah, I didn't really agree, and I know why that they brought the Demon out on Monday. I don't really agree necessarily with that, but...
Oh, I hated that.
I mean, I would have been more into if they would have teased it, and he just came out regular and said, you know, hey,
you don't want this.
The Demon comes out, and you're not going to be ready.
Yeah, I don't. It's weird, and we'll find out whether or not it's a smart move or not, because it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, where it's like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and do it now, so people get a taste. For the people that haven't seen it before,
Right.
Maybe that'll pull more people in on Sunday. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that's just like, you got to make people tune in on Sunday to see it.
Sure.
So, we'll see if this situation comes back to bite them on the butt, though.
Yeah, and this is another one. I know you kind of hinted at it earlier with the AJ Styles thing, but I think the club is more likely to be involved with this match than that one.
Yeah, I think that's why Finn goes over. I think the club actually helps him to establish that, hey, the club has expanded and it's on Raw, and now the biggest title on Raw and tag belts are ran by the club on Raw.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. I mean, Seth Rollins has been teasing that he's in the club and during house shows. So
yeah, I mean that's a whole other thing. I mean, you could easily do that and it would easily be believable.
I mean, he's given us one of the biggest swerves of the last couple years, turning heel on the Shield. So I mean, this could just be another chapter.
You could easily look at this situation as, boom, you have this. It could be either or. You have them help Finn Balor, and then that helps Seth reform the Shield, or you have Seth be a part of the Bullet and be running it on Raw, and then something happens and they turn on Seth, and then he starts up the Bullet, or the Shield. It's just, it could be done in different ways and still be cool, but it's still very unknown.
Yeah, I'm going to also go with Balor because they've really spent a lot of time building him up. Even with NXT, they did a documentary on him. I mean, they've spent a lot of time building him up over the last 2 years. So I think this is his big night.
Yeah, I definitely think this is his big, I'm here type situation, which I don't think is a bad thing. And honestly, it's very easy in my mind to make Finn your next big guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he has more chances of he has more ways of making money merch wise than John Cena. Because let's look at it this way: you have John Cena and he has one gimmick. You have Finn Balor and he's working two gimmicks.
Yeah,
the chicks are going to dig him because he's hot. The dudes dig him because he's actually a good worker. So you got chicks buying stuff because he's hot. You got dudes buying stuff because they support him as a good pro wrestler. And then you got kids enjoying it and buying it because he's like the new age Undertaker, and he has the face paint, and he has the arm things, and he has the head thing, and he has the shirts, and he has the masks, and he has the, it's like he has his own type thing, just like Cena has the sweatbands and the hat and the shoes and at one time he had the hustle, loyalty, respect necklace, and it's just he has the ability to be your next big guy because he has the merch and the sales and the ability to make them money.
Yeah, I actually saw that was one of the reasons why they brought out the Demon on Monday, so they could sell a lot of merch this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and it can be done very easily.
Oh yeah,
like I said before, man, it's just those arm things. I've seen those on sale. You have shirts, you have the Demon shirts, you have Baylor shirts. It's only a matter of time before those goofy ass head things go on sale for them, probably. I mean, it's the same way with Roman Reigns. I don't know why, but I went to that wrestling show in Pittsburgh. The kid beside me left for about 20 minutes. I came back. He came back with a damn Roman Reigns vest, a Roman Reigns gloves, and I was just like, dude, like it's funny how some people just have the merch and people will just buy it up, and they're not any good. But you have people like Finn, so you're going to make even that much more money. So they need to really push Finn being their big guy, merch wise, over. We continuously keep pushing Roman.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So the main event, I guess, will be Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. I guess.
I mean, with those 4 matches, just those 4 matches alone, there could be any type of arrangement of how those 4 matches go.
Yeah.
Like, you know how WWE is. You might get fucking Dolph and Dean first match.
Yeah, you're right.
So with this, like I said, with this match happening, it could very easily be the main, but we're not going to know until SummerSlam happens, I don't think. But I don't know. I'm thinking. I think something's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna be involved, and that's how Orton's gonna win.
Yeah, I agree, and I've even heard Goldberg's name thrown around. Believe it or not.
Jesus Christ. I can't stand it. I can't stand it either.
Yeah.
Like, the dude almost sawed his leg off, like, not even 6 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
And he was cutting firewood.
Yeah,
Go
so...
ahead.
I'm going with Orton, for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I got Orton.
All right.
But see, at the same time, they've said that, Brock's going to go for the title after this. So who knows? But they're on separate shows at the same time.
Right.
So
yeah, so there's other shows like you mentioned this weekend. I know Cody Rhodes is going to be wrestling Chris Hero, Zack Sabre Jr. Cedric Alexander is wrestling a couple guys. I know he's wrestling Tony Nese. I believe he's also... Who's out? I think he's wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. too.
I've seen video of him wrestling Zack Sabre Jr., but I'm not sure where.
I think he's wrestling Zack Sabre Jr. on the same card as Cody Rhodes and Chris Hero.
Oh, well, then that would be Friday night in Maryland. Because Zack Sabre Jr. and Cody Rhodes is in New Jersey, actually, on Saturday.
Okay, so what other matches are this weekend?
Well, I mean, I don't really know much more about the Evolve.
Okay.
But you do have Friday night's ROH Death Before Dishonor.
Okay.
Which is, do you not have the outline for that one?
I don't, but I can look it up real quick. This is in Vegas. This isn't in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, like, for me, I could talk for a half hour just on the main event in itself. It's amazing what they're doing right now.
Yeah, they've booked Adam Cole and Jay Lethal up really good the last few months.
They go and book it to where Adam can't get another title shot while Lethal has the belt. So then Adam takes it into his own hands and literally pisses Lethal off to the point to where he goes out of his way to make it a title shot for him. They shaved his head, and now the Bucks are even getting involved in, the title picture and stuff because of War Machine getting hurt and what's the other ones that got hurt and they can't compete? It was like a 3-way for the tag belts.
Okay.
So there's just, I have literally, between G1 Rev Pro this past weekend, and the PWG print show that just came out, and with what's going on in WWE in general, I don't want to say I'm like in la la land to wrestling right now, but it's like it is a guarantee that you are just going to miss some stuff right now.
Yeah.
There's so much is going on. So many people put crap on this stupid Osprey Vader show that they didn't even really acknowledge that it was Marty Scurll versus Chris Hero.
Yeah.
On the same show.
Yeah, well, hopefully, they tuned in to see the Vader match and they got to see that, though. I mean, I guess that's the point.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll look at it that way. Plus, and I think this happens on Saturday, is the AAW, it's either Friday or Saturday, the AAW, Tomasa versus Pentagon Jr. for the world title in Illinois.
That's right, yeah. That's one of Ciampa's last indie shows.
He's only got like 6 left.
Yeah.
And they're pretty impressive 6.
Yeah, I mean, so...
A lot of people don't know this, but there was like 3 matches left for Steen, and Steen picked Tomasa as one of his last 3 matches.
Yeah. Yeah, so guys, I mean, there's a lot of stuff this weekend. There's the Ring of Honor shows on Friday night. I mean...
Evolve and Ring of Honor are on Friday night.
And
then
Evolve's on Saturday, too.
Evolve on Saturday as well. NXT on Saturday. The AAW show is on Saturday, but I really don't know if there's a way to watch it live. And then there is that show for WWE called SummerSlam.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
awesome. That's what we just talked about. But like, there's so much. There's just. I'm kind of like I thought about it the other day, and I just kind of like put my head in my hands because I don't know how I'm going to catch up with just this weekend alone.
I mean, even Conor McGregor, wrestling fans' biggest arch rival, is fighting this weekend.
See, that's another. Yeah, people brought that up, but I like I said, I don't give a crap less.
Oh, I know you don't, but I mean, it's another thing that's going on this weekend.
He's a goof trying to get attention, and the only bad thing is people gave him attention.
I agree.
But what's funny to me is the person that thinks the same way, Mr. CM Punk, is the same whine ass that if you talk to him the wrong way on a social media site, he'll block you.
This is the same guy that called out Chris Brown. Okay, so give me a break.
Hey, no, though. Imagine if Punk would have got his hands on Brown, though.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
All right, so you got anything else before we head to Match of the Week?
I mean, yeah, there's a whole bunch going on, Bubba.
Well, I know that, but I mean...
Ibushi pretty much came out and said, I'm not going to sign with the WWE. I'm just going to kind of keep doing spot shows, and he's ready to start lining up his Wrestle Kingdom 11 opponent.
There was the payday G1 for him.
Huh?
I mean, that'll be a big payday for him.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also just it's also pointless for him to leave, New Japan for this if they're not willing to promise him the big spot,
right,
and the big stuff. Because let's look at it this way: Ibushi in WWE, at most, has the ability to have great matches, but never in the heavyweight main event scene.
Sure.
And WWE will not push it as strong as New Japan does. Ibushi should be in the main event of any show he's on.
Yeah,
but so and his family's there and everything. It's just it would be dumb for him. Me personally, since he does have a family and everything, for him to come to WWE and Vince just to be a really good mid-carder.
I think another thing he sees is his buddy Hideo Itami, Kenta, who's still in NXT after he's been there so long. He's not even on the.
He's been hurt so long.
I agree, but I mean he's back and he's still not even on the card this weekend.
Well, I mean, like I said, he just came back, and plus, I mean, you can't pull that up and go, well, he's kind of freaked out and worried about what they're going to do, when you can look at Asuka and you can look at Nakamura. I mean, they've made Nakamura look like a giant. He has not lost yet.
Right.
Period. He has not lost. Is anybody else on the roster can say that right now?
Don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. So
No Way Jose, maybe.
I don't think it matters. So it's going to be hard. It's kind of hard to go, well, look what they've done to Hideo, but you've also got to look and say, well, look what they've done with Nakamura and Asuka.
Right.
So, I mean, and who's to say that Ibushi doesn't, sign at some point? But, right now he said he's just happy with spot shows. Sabre did the same thing, and let's be honest, that's probably best for Sabre too, because Sabre, amazing wrestler, but just has no physique at all.
Right.
Like, he has nothing. He looks like two hot dogs put together. And, so he's also somebody that just, needs to come in and just has amazing matches here and there. I don't know, it's just me, but they need to just they need to rotate out these cruiserweights and these light guys if that's how they're going to keep it. If they push them to some main roster spots, like Eddie had the belt for a while and Ray had the belt for a while and stuff like that. So if they're going to do that to the people that deserve it, then that's cool. But I think this is a smart move, like I said, for people like, Ibushi and Zack Sabre Jr. Now, Cedric Alexander, yeah, that's going to be a big pickup, and they should pick him up fast as possible.
Yes. All right, so
he's got the size, the look, and the ability to make you care.
I agree.
He knows how to sell, and not like, oh man, that hurts, but like, oh man, I feel bad for him. Because there's a big difference between, oh man, that looks like it hurts, and oh man, I feel bad for him and wish that wouldn't have happened to him.
Yeah, he definitely has the sympathy going on for him.
You have that. You have ROH in general, with them doing some awesome stuff like the Pittsburgh show. Did you hear what the main event for the Pittsburgh show is?
Yeah, I did. It looks nice. It's got Adam Cole and the Young Bucks versus
Lethal, Cabana, and Castle.
Castle, yeah.
Which is cool, but at the same time, I feel like, I could get at least 2 to 3 good matches out of that instead of just one really, one big one with everybody. But, that show looks like it could be fun. That's coming through Pittsburgh with that main event announced.
Next month.
Yeah, September 16th. I wish I could be there, but I'm not going to be there. I'm going to be in Pittsburgh, but I'm not going to be there.
All right, so do you have a match of the week?
I'm sorry. I don't know how we're not talking about Alberto Del Rio and Paige getting suspended
together. They're going off to get married. This is a work.
On Paige's birthday.
Yeah, I think there's something going on there that we don't know.
I think they're getting put into. Well, first of all, it's been said that she's hurt.
Yeah.
She's got shoulder and back stuff that needs to be taken care of. But Del Rio, who knows? I don't know. Did they even say what the reason they got suspended was besides a health thing?
They didn't say it all.
Which is also weird because, like, literally, it's like, what's going on to the point to where, like, are they doing stuff together, or is it like, you know, they're having sex, so he transmitted bodily fluids to her?
Oh,
and,
boy.
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to be gross or anything, but, you know, that is easily a possibility. So that's why I wonder what it is.
The human body is an amazing thing.
It's a gross thing too. Very easily.
All
very
right.
easily could be very gross.
So, my match of the week is from Clash of the Champions 24, which was 23 years ago today. And the main event was Vader defeating Davey Boy Smith for the World Heavyweight title.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I have no comment for that because it just sounds horribly boring.
It was Clash of the Champions, though, so it was good.
I'm not taking anything away from them, but there's just from a little kid to now, just not something that would interest me wrestling wise.
All right, so what's your match of the week?
I mean, honestly, I thought we were recording this tomorrow, so I kind of don't have one. But at the same time, like the match that I watched between Chris Hero and Marty Scurll on that was awesome.
Okay.
And PWG's Prince, the first match was Dalton Castle versus Adam Cole. Also really good. So for me, I'm going to have to go with a split. I can't really pick one or the other.
Right.
So tonight I'm going to go with either Adam Cole versus Dalton Castle for PWG Prince or Rev Pro with Hero versus Marty Scurll, because as much as I like Hero, Marty Scurll is, for me, the next big thing. And you know, people are talking about Sabre Jr. and people are talking about Ospreay, but more people honestly need to be talking about Nomar Dar and Marty Scurll more than they're talking about anyone. More than they're talking about Zack Sabre Jr. and Ospreay, for me personally.
Okay, well, the wrestler of the week for me is who I consider the next big thing, and that was the winner of the G1 Climax, and that is Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know how we have not talked more about that.
Well, I was waiting until now to bring it up. That's why.
Okay, that makes sense. That Omega's whole performance over the G1 was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, he even did a couple spots that I kind of wish he wouldn't have done, but I think
like you think that spot from the corner to the floor was a little over the top, but I don't at all, because you've got idiots like Hardy jumping off of 18-foot ladders and jumping off the Titantron and back in the day, and Shane McMahon doing the same thing. That, to me, looked very safe. He caught him with just enough to slow him down to where he won't get hurt when he hits that floor. I thought it was phenomenal, and I thought it was executed very well.
I mean, he honestly probably had 2 5-star matches in back-to-back nights. I mean, he was that on this past weekend.
Dude, he was on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just, honestly, to me, this year has been the year of Omega and Lethal.
Yeah.
In pro wrestling. It's hard for me to pick some of these guys that's in this Cruiserweight Classic. I mean, people are having great years, but I'm talking about not people having great years, but these people having great years in pro wrestling. Like, they're doing something in pro wrestling for people to pay attention to them, not just people paying attention to them. Do you know is that coming across right?
Yeah, sure.
Like, these people are getting people to watch pro wrestling, not just check out what Omega's doing or what Lethal's doing. Like, they're going on and watching What Culture Pro Wrestling because matches with El Ligero and No More Dar, and he's getting ready to have another match with Ligero for the title. But he's also doing great stuff with New Japan. He's also doing great stuff in ROH itself, obviously.
Right.
But you got Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega is just so humongous in Japan, which we need to talk about this, by the way, because you've said, and I know you've said many a times, that the Elite, or at least Omega, is coming to the Fed. And honestly, man, I don't see it happening at all, to be honest.
Ever?
But yeah, I don't see it happening.
I think he has another year left, and then I think he'll come over.
I think if he does, it'll be another year.
Yeah. I think he has another year left on his contract after 2016, so I think that's when that contract runs out, I think he'll consider it really seriously.
I honestly think the Fed's going to have to pay some money on this one, though.
Well, I mean, they're paying AJ Styles a good bit of money, and there's a lot of guys in the WWE right now that are fans of Kenny Omega, especially after this past weekend. And
yeah. But it does. Do you think? I mean, I think it's different when we ask me or you that kind of thing. But do you think Kenny Omega deserves AJ money to come into WWE?
All I'll say is they're probably paying Brock Lesnar double AJ money to work 2 or 3 shows a year. So I think it'll be worth it.
But don't you think Brock's worth that money?
Honestly, at this point, I don't.
So you don't think he's the draw? He's the big draw?
I think he's lost a good bit over the last 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and also, like, and this is for me, if he's not the main event this Sunday, then why the hell is he there?
He doesn't care if he's not in the main event.
No, but what I'm saying, though, with how much they are paying him and want him there, if he's not in your main this weekend, then there's no point of him being there.
And I'm saying, you see what happens when he's not in the main event. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, he was so lazy against Dean Ambrose.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel about that this week? Whenever what's his name said he was lazy.
That was great. I'm glad it finally came out for sure. Dude,
I may have to change my answer about match of the week depending on how this match ends.
Well, who's your wrestler of the week? You didn't say.
Kendrick versus Nice.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome. So make sure everybody checks that out as soon as possible. But my wrestler of the week, and I think this is the first time it's happened so far, but is also Kenny Omega. I mean, you can't. So I think we're in agreements when it comes to the wrestler of the week. I don't know how you can pick anybody over him right now.
I don't either. All right, guys. RSW Podcast on Twitter and on Instagram. We're going to have all kinds of posts this weekend, a lot of chatting, a lot of discussion. You guys need to be up on that. We're almost to 3,000 followers on Twitter, so if you're not following us on there, definitely check that out.
Yes, do. Please do as soon as possible. This weekend is going to be pretty crazy, so don't, when you're doing your whole, social media stuff while you're watching the ROH or Evolve or SummerSlam or NXT or the pre-show or any of it at all, don't forget to message us and let us know what you're saying and what you're thinking, and get us and keep us all involved in your in all of your pro wrestling conversations.
And if you guys are at any of these shows, make sure you give us some updates.
Yeah, we do actually. Real Shoot Wrestling does have some guys heading to Evolve on Friday night, and there may be one that is going to Evolve on Friday and going to NXT on Saturday. So
nice.
So we're gonna if we can get some special. Holy crap! Yeah, I'm gonna have to throw Kendrick and Nice in for match of the week there too. With that ending just now, there's one guy in the crowd holding one piece of paper that just says, "I'm a Brian Kendrick guy." But and then there's an old lady that's just absolutely 100% surprised of how that turnout of that match was. But yeah. So like I said, if you're at any of these shows, get pictures, send us the outcome, send us the card. If you can get pictures with anybody, send them over. Feel free to, get them to even say something to the extent of, Real Shoot Wrestling of some sort. Just while you're watching these shows and while you're at these shows, just most important thing is you're a pro wrestling fan, so have fun watching.
Have fun. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Peace, guys.